Nine is an animated horror film released on September 9, 2009. It's created and directed by Shane Acker, and it's also produced by Tim Burton. It was based off of Acker's 2005 short film with the same premise, and it was picked up by Burton, who fell in love with the art style. The film follows Nine, a small ragdoll who's awoken in a post-apocalyptic world. Humanity has been wiped out, and the only life forms are other ragdolls, such as Nine, and robotic beasts that hunt them. One of Nine's most notable features is its art style. The film is dark and gritty, and really sells the idea of humanity being wiped out on Earth. Its color palette is comprised of mostly greens and browns, but it also manages to be incredibly visually appealing. It's a movie you want to look at. The textures are intricate, especially for the time period. Nine's art style is really one of the most impressive things about it, because it still holds up today, and there's not really any other animated films like it. The specific style for this film is that of the steampunk style. Acker himself even refers to the dolls as stitchpunks, as a nod to the term. The definition of steampunk is a genre of science fiction that has a historical setting and typically features steam-powered machinery rather than advanced technology. Nine fits the definition of this perfectly. Besides the ragdolls, all of the machinery is powered by steam. The film itself actually takes place in the 1940s, and there is a sci-fi element. The dolls were created by a scientist who embedded parts of his soul into each one of them. One scene that represents the steampunk art style particularly well is the scene that's a flashback to when the war was still happening. It's one of the few scenes where we see the humans still alive, so it shows us the historical aspect of it while also showcasing the machinery aspect. The machines aren't like anything we have nowadays, but they still feel like they fit into the 1940s aesthetic the movie's going for. The term steampunk also has its political connotations. Note the word punk in it. The politics of the style are not lost on Nine. The movie's whole focus is about the effects of war, and the main villain himself is a dictator by the name of Chancellor Ferdinand. The Chancellor's want for power is what causes the war. A scientist is the one who created the machines, and they were originally meant to be used for good. But because they fell into the wrong hands, they were used as machines of war.
Residents are advised to pause for a public address.
Science has turned its sinister hands against us. People of our mighty state, join me in repelling the iron fist of the machine.
The steampunk style is based on the fun of innovation and love for technology. It's not unintentional that the villainous machines of this film are sleek, black, and all look the same, while the heroes of this film are all different. The cast is colorful, diverse, and they each have their own distinct personalities. It's very clear in the design and the tone of the Chancellor, and the flags that represent his state are supposed to represent Nazi Germany. To Nine, the political aspect of steampunk is just important as the visual style. You can't have one without the other, as both play off of each other to form a whole. It's important to think critically about why certain art styles are chosen, because it's clear in Nine that the steampunk style wasn't chosen just because it looks cool. There is clear political messaging. Elijah Wood, the actor who plays Nine, is quoted in the Nine art book as saying, "I think the theme of humanity being its own demise by way of technology is probably more relevant now than it's ever been. We are ruled by technology, and it continues to spiral seemingly out of control." Elijah Wood's word choices here are important, as Nine isn't about the apocalypse because of robots, but it's about how humans can use robots to cause the apocalypse. It's the actions of humans, more specifically corrupt political leaders, that lead us to stuff like this. Because robots can be used for good, and that's shown through the ragdolls themselves, as at the end of the movie, they're able to restore life back into the world. Nine ends on a note of hope, which even in of itself is steampunk.
What happens next?
I'm not sure, exactly. But this world is ours now. It's what we make of it.